Hello everybody, it's Binks here, back with a review for y'all. Here for the next video for the 12 days of views everyone, as well as the next video for the review for the Spider-Man movie or everybody. This everybody, we're going to kick things off with the Amazing Spider-Man films, everyone. Which happened 5 years after Spider-Man 3. Which Sony decided to reboot the franchise after being unable to talk things through with Sam Raimi for a fourth Spider-Man movie there. Where there were discussions of having either Vulture or the Lizard be the main villain there, but there was disagreements on both ends there. The two studios decided to part ways, and so we decided to relaunch Spider-Man series. This time, in the hands of Mark Webb there, and with Edgar Garfield portrayed as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, Now everyone did. This was gonna be another one of the films that I was gonna be a little curious looking back at everybody, because I remember when I initially watched the movie, everybody, I really liked it there, and the initial feedback on the movie was pretty well received, but over time, it seems that Amazing Spider-Man has gotten the reputation of being kind of like the black sheep of the movie franchise there, or it seems to be the least talked about films in the Spider-Man series there, compared to the original trilogy and the recent films from the MCU. So, I'm kind of curious to see where I was going to fall into here, what I was going to think about it there. But also figure out as to why that was the case there. Well, after getting a chance to watch everybody, I'm having to get my thoughts on it there, so yeah. Without further ado, let's go right to everybody with our review for Spider-Man, with the Amazing Spider-Man, everybody. As usual, we'll be doing plot summary, pros and cons, and overall final thoughts and recommendation. So without further ado, let's go right to it. First off, the story. Everyone won't need much explanation, everybody, since this is a reboot here, follow the origins of Peter Parker there, becoming Spider-Man. But with the little differences this time there, compared to the Sam Raimi's first film there, where instead of the Green Goblin, we have the Lizard as the main villain. And instead of Mary Jane, we have Gwen Stacy as the main love interest. So, and the film does try to do different things there to not 100% replicate stuff that was in the Sam Raimi films there. So, now where it all paid off there, we'll wait and see. So, that's really summary the plot by. So, yeah. Now on to pros and cons, everybody. Alright, everyone. First, everybody, the pros I will give everyone is that I thought the acting was very well done there. I thought all the actors did a good job with their respective roles there. I really like the action sheet. I really like the action scenes of the movie there. They're well executed. But the special effects were done pretty good there. As for Edgar Garfield's portrayal of Spider-Man there, I thought he did a pretty good job with portraying Spider-Man there. And everyone, a little bit of reflection there. I do remember hearing people kind of criticizing to Maguire's portrayal of Spider-Man there, saying that he wasn't quippy enough there, so I had to compared to his comic book counterpart there. Well, Andrew Garfield, compared to Maguire's version there, he does provide more quips there and stuff like that. As more portrayal to Spider-Man in the comics there. Maguire did have a good performance as Spider-Man there, both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. In terms of the Spider-Man aspect there, and after Peter Parker was bitten by Spider-Man there, I thought Andrew Garfield did a very good job, and compared to the two there, is more better portrayal compared to comics there. And next, everybody, is Gwen Stacy, everybody. Now, those who remember seeing my Spider-Man review, everybody, I do remember, prior to rewatching the movie, everybody, I did state that off memory there. While I don't think Mary Jane was overall a bad love interest there, comparing her to Gwen Stacy in Space Spider movies there, I do feel like Gwen Stacy was the better of the two there. After rewatching the film, Space Spider, I still do stand by that sentiment there. As well, I didn't necessarily dislike Mary Jane's character within the original trilogy there. I do remember a lot of people being critical there about her being cliched there, being dealing with stress stuff like that there, which is our stable there. Or when Stacy there, she has most of the film that while she don't have powers there, she's not afraid to stand up for her own there. And there have been a couple times where she's even helped out Spider-Man there, and with the fights against the Lizard there. And he played a role in the climax of the film there, help create the antidote there to reverse the human lizard hybrid effects from Dr. Connors there, where he became the lizard and tried to spread out the other citizens in New York. And like I said, while I don't dislike Mary Jane's character there, I said, comparing her to Gwen Stacy there, I do feel like Gwen Stacy definitely the stronger of the two love interests there. Both as his characters there, but yeah, while I thought Mary Jane and Peter had good chemistry there, I do feel like Gwen and Peter had better chemistry there compared to the Sam Raimi films there, so we'll give Spider-Man credit due there. We're doing a good job with Gwen Stacy's character as well as have overall better chemistry between Peter and Gwen there. And lastly, I will give credit for Raimi Spider-Man is that it did try to do something different. It did try to do something different there, and in some aspects, it managed to work there. While the Sam Raimi films have a bit of a fun, upbeat feel to them there, while they have Simpsons, they have more upbeat feel to them. Well, this version of Spider-Man was a bit more of a darker, grittier version there. I feel like for the most part, the film did a pretty good job in that department there. That's pretty much all the pros I have for Amazing Spider-Man now to the content I mentioned here, so I'll go ahead and start off with some of the nitpicks there about the smaller criticisms there that eventually lead to my larger criticisms of the movie there. The first one there is a minor criticism to Edgar Garfield there, not necessarily because of his acting there, as like I said, I still think he did a pretty good job portraying Peter and Spider-Man overall there, but I do remember some people saying that but prior to getting bitten there, that people couldn't have a hard time, couldn't buy him being the geek and picked on there, so that I kind of see why there. That's mainly due to the appearance there. Compared to him being wired there, he did a very he had a very good appearance there in terms of Peter Parker prior to getting bit by the spider there. While Edgar Garfield did a better job portraying Spider-Man after he got bit there, but forward it's kind of hard to buy him being the high school geek being picked on there. So yeah. Next was everybody. It's kind of go back to this, kind of more of how the Lizard or Dr. Tars discovers Spider-Man there, being Peter Parker. And that's the sewer scene there by where after Spider-Man and the Lizard had their first fight there, Lizard found the camera there, and the camera literally says property of Peter Parker. I just can't help but feel like that was a very, very stupid way for Tars to find out Peter Parker was Spider-Man there. I mean, sorry, what the burp there. But anyways, like I said, well, I thought it was a very dumb way for Dark Tars as Lizard to find out Peter Parker was Spider-Man there. I did pick some parts there where Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi's version of Spider-Man there. And for the most part, he managed to keep his secret there. For the Mark Webb film Spider-Man, I thought that was a very dumb move there. So, and if Peter wanted to make sure people didn't find out he was Spider there. Probably shouldn't carry stuff with his name on it there. Speaking of other cutters and the lizard by, while he's not a bad villain per se there, he was a very lackluster made villain there. That's mainly because I felt like despite the run time of 2 hours and 16 minutes there, the film didn't do much to flesh out his character there. And not too long after I finished watching the movie, I found out that there were some deleted scenes from the movie there that were cut that actually kind of fleshed out Dr. Tar's character some more there. Like, for example, there was a scene of him talking to his son there and stuff like that, or implying he had a son. But that ended up being cut out of the movie there. And it's like, why would you leave something like that out there? That would give a little bit more development with the character there. Well, he did kind of flesh things out with his character there, but it wasn't enough there to really really give me a gauge him as a villain character there. As a similar problem I had with the Spider-Man 3 villains there, but where the contrast is that the movie, or Spider-Man 3 had too many villains there, and had issues balancing them out there, give the focus. There's not really much of an excuse for Spider-Man here. It had one villain there, and despite the runtime it given, it did not flesh out its main villain enough there. Which was disappointing to see there. Apologies for burping my trying to get control here, but anyways. The next part by is, like I said, while I did give credit to the movie for trying to do something different there, and some aspects managed to work there, but there were definitely some parts of the film where it felt like they were trying really hard not to copy the original movies there. But probably the best scene that could and be an example of that there is the blow off is a big argument between Peter and Uncle Ben there. And while the movie's credit did build it up there, instead of Uncle Ben saying with great power comes great responsibility, there is like more of a long-winded version of that phrase there. So I felt like that probably wouldn't hurt the film too much there if it did kind of shorten it a little bit there. They didn't necessarily have to fully copy the original series there, but quote for quote, but they should have made a bit of a shorter quote there for Uncle Ben there and stuff like that. So yeah. Speaking of Uncle Ben, yeah, everyone. I can see some people defended their Tedros Spider-Man from instead of focusing on revenge, focus on being a hero there. So that I personally wasn't a fan of the movie dropping the ball with the subplot of Peter looking for his uncle's killer there. I mean, because I felt like that played a very vital role into Peter becoming the hero he was there, as well as learn the lesson with great power comes great responsibility there. Hey, they did. I said they didn't necessarily need to fully copy the original trilogy there, but they still could have had where Spider-Man chased down the crook there and was gonna take him out there. They could pay for what he did his uncle there, but instead learns that he'll get nothing out of it there, and revenge will not be a satisfying feel there. Won't bring his Uncle Ben back. And instead, he brings the crook over to the cops there. thought it could be an effective way to still have that sequence play out there, but not necessarily fully copy the original series there, and still have Spider-Man learn the lesson there. Everyone, the last kind of issue I have with Spider-Man, the way Spider-Man by is, well, and like I said, like I previously brought up, everybody, the film is longer compared to the Sam Raimi films there, with 2 hours and 16 minutes there, and well, it's not too much of the movie there. There are some issues there where the film feels like it's going at a slow pace there, and I'm not gonna lie, there were some parts where I kind of, you know, not paying attention to what was going on there. It kind of lost me for a bit there. I remember talking about this briefly in my my Justice League review by where the probably the biggest sin a superhero can make, hero movie can make there is being bored. It'd be boring to watch. And while Amazing Spider-Man is nowhere near as bad as Justice League there in that department, there were some parts where I got a little bored and kind of tuned out a little bit what was going on in the movie there. Which is a shame to say there because this was supposed to be the start of a new series there. Try to get people invested there. So, and if they were going to make the movie as long as it did there, they need to add more do more interesting things in it there to keep the audience attention there, and not feel like they're bored. Like I said, it's not didn't happen too much in the film, but there are certain parts of the film that kind of lost me a little bit there. So yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody, for pros and cons for Amazing Spider-Man. Now to my overall final thoughts and recommendation one. Now after watching Amazing Spider-Man, after rewatching Amazing Spider-Man after a good while, everyone, I kind of have a better understanding as to why there's a portion of Spider-Man fan base that aren't too fondly of the movies there. Now, I will say this: Amazing Spider-Man is not a bad movie there, and comparing it to the last movie I reviewed there, I mean the last of Sam Raimi film, Spider-Man 3, I do think Amazing Spider-Man is the better film of the two there. And I want to make clear I was trying to be as fair as possible going into this review here, and try not to put the Amazing Spider-Man fit movie on the same pedestal as the first two Sam Raimi films there. But with that being said, while there are good elements in this movie here, I can see why I can see why people aren't too fondly of it there because there are some things that the film doesn't do very well in there, and I can see people feel like it lacks a certain bit of identity to it there, or it's not one to copy from the original series there. While it does things well in it there, it's not enough to get people to remember certain parts of it that much. They not as iconic as the Sam Raimi trilogy there, and or not as talked about much as the Sam Raimi movies or the recent MCU films. So that's what I would say, everybody. As for my overall thoughts, recommendation, everybody. Um, my final thoughts, everybody. If you're someone that's curious to check out the other Spider-Man films there, this one might be worth the watch to you there. But if you're not interested in checking out the Amazing Spider-Man, everybody, then I can't necessarily blame you that much. Like I said, well, it's not necessarily a bad film there. I do think it's better than Spider-Man 3. A part of me was kind of a little bit let down there. Rewatched the movie there. What was a terrible? It's not a terrible start of a new series. There, it wasn't necessarily the best one either. So yeah. As for overall, make sure everybody's all done by 5 different verdicts. There's the high score of must watch rating there, then the watch it rated, then rate it, then the ignored rating, and then my lowest of let it burn. For everybody based Spider-Man, it's gonna go, so I go in the middle there. For me, it's a rated rating there for me. So, like I said, if you're curious, want to check it out there, haven't seen the other Spider-Man movies, it might be worth a watch there. But if you're not interested in there, get this bladed too much for it. Get this bladed too much for it there. Well, it's a step up compared to Spider-Man 3 there. It's still not on the same level as the first two Sam Raimi films there. So yeah. Pretty much wrap things up for this review, everybody. Next review, everybody, for the Spider-Man movie or third one, we'll be taking a look at the more infamous film in the Amazing Spider-Man series, everybody. That being the Amazing Spider-Man 2 there. So, be ready to buckle in for that one, everyone. So, tell everyone, I'll see you on the next video there. Until this, my sorry, make sure like button, new channel, subscribe, and bell notification icons, make uploads. I'll see you all next time. This is our big say out. Peace.